Announcements. Now I'm going to invite our special guest in. Come on in here, my friend. And so many of you know this individual. His name is Gilbert Foster. If you don't know him, frankly, you're missing out because Gilbert's a great guy, and Gilbert works with our denomination in the region. He also not oversees, he is really, you're like the CEO founder of When I Grow Up. And so we've done some things that church has helped with them, and we'll talk about that in a few moments. But this is the rapid fire segment. Now, here's what's great about this particular rapid fire is I don't even have questions listed right now. So this is going to be a complete off-the-cuff type thing, and so we look forward to that. The other challenge that you're going to have now is if you can understand what Gilbert says, because those of you that know him know that he's from Scotland, and you know this, he has a rather distinct voice. And so we'll see if you can, I'm not going to put subtitles in here, okay, Gilbert? Is that okay?
Whatever you want to do.
See, that's what I'm talking about. So that's what I'm talking about. So Gilbert, here we go. How long have you lived in the United States?
Since 2001.
2001.
How many years is that? Nearly 20.
No, almost 20.
Nearly 20.
So nearly 20. What brought you to the U.S.?
A plane.
Okay, so your plane brought you. Did you come here to study, or what did you come here to do?
I came here to take a sabbatical break, and I was based in Chicago.
Okay.
And as I was getting near the end of the sabbatical break, where would I go? What would I do? And an opportunity came to come to California, and I thought I was going to end up like in the Bay Area.
Right.
And my car took a left, and it headed to Fresno. And
You had the Bay Area possibly, and you
ended up in Fresno.
That's a radical difference.
Bad one. It's not the end of the world, but you can see it from there.
That's exactly right. That is good. You know, I was born in Fresno. Did I ever tell you that?
You told me that.
I was born in Fresno. I lived there for the first 6 months of my life. Great memories that I had, you know, as a 6-month-old there and stuff. And then we hightailed it over to Pittsburgh.
I was going to say, have you ever gone back to Fresno?
I have never been back to Fresno. I have never been back to Fresno. So now you're from Scotland.
Yep.
How do you deal with it when people say, "Oh, you're from Ireland"?
Cold stare. Although, actually, Ireland would be okay.
Ireland's
okay? If you
okay?
said I was from England.
England, that's what.
Then I would get. No,
then that would chap you a little bit.
There would be a Glasgow kiss coming.
What is a Glasgow kiss?
Glasgow kisses. It's a Glasgow kiss. So
there we go.
So I am British. So I'll claim to be British more than maybe, like, I'm not an independence guy.
Right.
So I think we're better together. So I'm British, but I'm not English.
Gotcha.
I am Scottish.
You're Scottish.
I'm Scottish.
We know that for sure.
Yeah.
So you are Scottish for sure. So being from Scotland, you have to, and I'll just ask it this way. You have to be what we call in America, what we call in the United States, a soccer fan, but in the rest of the world calls it football. So you have to be a football fan.
Absolutely.
So who is your team?
Well, that's difficult for me, okay? Because in Scotland, every city has two teams.
Okay.
And one historically is Catholic, and one historically is Protestant.
I did not know that.
Yeah, so you got Glasgow Rangers, Glasgow Celtic, you've got Dundee, or you've got Dundee United, or you've got Hearts and Midlothian, or you've got Hibernian. So when I was a pastor in Scotland, I supported St. Johnstone.
Okay.
So you couldn't tell if that was Protestant or Catholic.
Okay.
But I don't really follow Scottish soccer or football because it's not very good. So my English team is
Manchester
United. And that is because Alex Ferguson, Sir Alex Ferguson, Scotsman, and used to come from Glasgow, which is where I used to study and work.
Right.
And yeah, I followed him. So if you were a Scottish guy, you'd either support Liverpool or you'd support Manchester United. And I was Manchester United.
And Manchester United would be comparable to pulling for the New York Yankees.
Oh, yeah, they are one of the biggest sports franchises in the world. And for US fans, the last 5 or 6 years have been pathetic for us.
Right.
But the glory years, I was all the way through the glory years with David Beckham and all these guys.
All those guys. Okay, so Manchester United.
Manchester United.
Okay, so that works. All
also known as the Red Devils.
Which isn't exactly good. Which isn't good. That's
so we
exactly,
just say United.
That's exactly. Say United. So that works. So now, what is your favorite Scottish meal? Or English meal? Are you a bangers and mash guy?
No, I'm not a bangers and mash guy. And really, haggis is overrated. Like, if you ever eat haggis, you know why we invented whiskey. It's disgusting. Okay, but actually, you give me steak pie.
Steak pie.
So like steak with a baked like puff pastry on top, and with the necessary vegetables and potatoes. That's the classic.
Steak
With
pie.
maybe even a Yorkshire pudding with it.
Okay.
So a Yorkshire pudding is doughy. I guess it originally came from Yorkshire. You would often get them in pubs, but delicious.
Delicious. Yorkshire pudding.
Yorkshire puddings along with my steak pie.
Okay, that works.
So it's not a pudding like dessert.
Right.
It's like
It's part of the deal.
Part of the deal.
It's part of the deal. It's part of
just
your meal.
More carbs.
More,
okay?
more carbs. That works. Now we get a little more serious, okay? So your organization, When I Grow Up, okay? You guys are involved in Kenya, Haiti, Guatemala, taking care of those children who are really going through difficult times.
Yep.
Now, and we've talked about this, COVID has been difficult for all of us, but for the impoverished, it has been even worse.
Yeah.
So I want to give you a few moments, or however long you want. How has your organization navigated this?
Yeah, so I think the genius of our organization is we don't do any work.
Right, right. No, I understand that.
So
right.
The local NGOs lead it, and they are entrepreneurial, Christian, amazing guys. So if I look at Kenya in particular, where you've been, John, so school was closed down, and hey, we just opened the high school dormitory, like a 256 bed building, 3 stories high.
Which, real quickly, our church helped
Yeah.
contribute to that.
First Baptist Church Salinas, thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
And just as we had the opening ceremony in February of 2020, closed it down in March. So, and then all the students who were there had to come back to the slum. So you've just left an area of clean, hygiene, safe, into a mass area. We're somewhere around about 600,000 people, 2 square miles.
600,000 people, 2 square miles.
2 square miles. So you can't socially distance, you know.
Right.
They're wearing masks. I was asking David the other day, that David's the leader over in, like, are you guys wearing masks? So they wear the mask like this, right?
That's not doing
I said,
anything.
why are you wearing a mask like that? He says, well, in the slum, if you don't wear a mask, the police can arrest you. And so what they're looking for is a bribe. So you would need to pay 100 shillings, 200 shillings, $1, $2. But if you only earn $1 a day, that's a big fine. So they all just wear their masks under their chins so that the police can't find them. Yeah.
Wow.
So,
okay. All right.
So all closed down, and initially it was desperate. You know, we tried to use WhatsApp for online teaching, but a lot of the kids don't have phones. A lot of the kids, if they had a phone, didn't have minutes available to get data. So very few kids actually were able to get any education. The social work department and the teachers began to walk the streets, which wasn't very safe, checking in with students, giving out books. And then we began to do care packages because a lot of the families couldn't actually get any food. There was no school open. And then the whole infrastructure of Huruma, like there's a main street or so, 1 or 2 of them, with traders who they all do their cooking outdoor. So these guys were all closing down. So what Faraha did was they created a stimulus fund where they would give to guardians of the children some cash. That cash would be for food and water, which they would buy from the traders, which would keep the traders in business as well. So they had their own little stimulus program going.
Wow, great.
Pretty phenomenal. And then just in September, they began to open the school, not for classes, because they still can't do that. Like the whole year's been wiped out, and every kid has to redo that year starting in January of 2021. But they've opened them up to bring the kids in clusters of 8 or 9 kids at a time, meet with a teacher, and the teacher would give them some assignments, check the assignments that they've had at home, and then kind of the teacher would be like a friend or an uncle or an aunt, because just now there's a lot of violence going on at home, a lot of problems in the slums, just because nobody has work, nobody has income. And there's no testings in the slum. We don't know the level of COVID because people die every day with dysentery or malaria. So why test when they're dying anyway? I mean, that's the attitude of, sadly, the Kenyan government. So for about an hour every week with a cluster of 8, the kids just get to play together and have fun with the teacher. Some assignments, and then playing board games or fun games.
Trying to keep them
Just
involved.
lift their morale,
Right, yep.
just encourage them.
Good.
There's some peer-to-peer stuff going on, and we're also getting some expert counsellors in who are doing things with them with regards to coping with violence at home, coping with abuse at home. But yeah, so that's Faraha, and that's replicated in Guatemala
and Haiti.
and in Haiti. Haiti a little bit different because actually where they are, away out in the sticks, there's no COVID. So they have actually managed to reopen the school there.
Wow.
But the teachers travel like an hour and a half from a town to the area to teach. What we don't want is the teachers bringing COVID.
Right,
So there's testing going on there. But
Well,
yeah.
your organization has just made a huge impact in. I mean, you know, your whole desire to help break this cycle of poverty. It's amazing, and to have what you said earlier, as far as you're not doing anything. You're doing all you can to help them do what needs to be done.
We're
And
Robin
that's-
Hood.
You were Robin Hood. That's
Take
exactly.
it from the rich to give it to the poor.
That's exactly. And there's ways to do that, and you guys are doing a great job with that and stuff.
Yeah,
So,
thanks, sir.
so
Thanks, sir.
you're very welcome. So,
Thank you.
so there it is. So that's it. That's rapid fire. You made it through it. You have any questions for me?
Oh, John, I couldn't ask these questions in public.
Yeah,
Confession comes later.
Confession comes
Yeah.
later. Okay,
Yeah.
confession comes later. Gilbert is a great friend of mine, and it has been a joy for me. I've known him longer than I've known anybody in this church, and so it's been a joy for me. We get together. What do you think? Once every 2-3 months or so in
more or
that
less,
area,
yeah.
just to share a meal and share life together. And it is a joy for me
Good.
to consider Gilbert not only a friend, but a very good friend. A very just great great insights on different things. So I'm grateful for that. Okay.
Listen.
All right,
Hey.
so have at it, and I will. You can slide over there, and I will wrap this up here momentarily. So, as we go through this time, I want to invite you. As many of you know, I read a psalm a day, and I want to read a psalm to you. It's Psalm 15. It is one of the rare psalms in my Bible that the entire thing is underlined, which means that at different points of my life, something has hit me with this. And listen to what he says: Yahweh, who may dwell in your sacred tent? Who may live on your holy mountain? There was this desire of, God, I want to be with you. I want to hang out with you. I want to be your man. I want to be your person. And listen to the answer. So the question is, who can get to do this? And listen to what he says in verse 2. The one whose walk is blameless, who does what is righteous, who speaks the truth from their heart. Folks, no matter if it's COVID or not, we are called to be truth-filled, integrity-filled individuals, whose tongue utters no slander. Wouldn't that be nice? No slander. Who does no wrong to a neighbor. We have opportunities to care for people. We have opportunities to take care of them. And casts no slur on others. Who despises a vile person, but honors those who fear Yahweh. Who keeps an oath, get this, who keeps an oath even when it hurts. You heard Gilbert talk about when I grow up. Those people are hurting, yet there's a commitment there that we're going to be there for you. Gilbert's organization has said we're going to do what we can to be there for them. And it hurts to keep an oath, yet they keep that oath. And they do not change their mind. Who lends money to the poor without interest, who does not accept a bribe against the innocent. The question was, who may dwell with you, who may be with you? And you read through this, it's a person of integrity. It's a person who understands that living a life of integrity and living a life that reflects Jesus Christ and his grace, that's who gets to dwell with them. And listen to these last words. Whoever does these things will never be shaken. It's my prayer as we continue through these days that we will be a community of Christ followers that lives out Psalm 15, that lives out a life that reflects God and reflects his grace to those that he places in our lives. Because there's a lot of things that can shake us up. But according to what David says in Psalm 15, whoever does these things will never be shaken. We have an unshakable God who comes through all the time. And because he's unshakable, he gives us all we need to be unshakable. I love you. I hope the rest of your day goes well. God bless, and I look forward to seeing you soon. God bless. I love you. Bye-bye.